The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What time is it?
I am the face that runs the place.
You need Roman to be out of the main title picture for a little while. Like, just, you give him a break. This is the only way you're possibly going to get the crowd to do anything but boo him, is give him a break.
I'm the greatest wrestler in the world.
It was exciting to see because it kind of reminded me of Reading Rainbow a little bit.
All he needed was LeVar Burton to come in there.
Well, this would have definitely got a 5-star pay-per-view for me.
Show of the year.
Yeah, show of the year.
How you doing?
The moment Rollins has waited for months is upon us. Triple H waiting in the ring. Seth Rollins staring down at the game. See it in his eyes. Seth Rollins' blood is boiling. It's about to go down. And Triple H seething as well. These two massive egos about to collide here on Monday Night Raw. Seth is going to... Whoa. Who the hell is... Oh my God, it's Samoa Joe! Samoa Joe from NXT!
The two-time NXT champion, Samoa Joe, is on Monday Night Raw. Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the max.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughn, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leeser.
Welcome, everybody, to Wrestling to the Max, episode 232, part 1. And wow, we are getting into the road to WrestleMania for sure, because we just finished with the Royal Rumble this past weekend, and of course that big important Raw after, and we are getting set for a lot of great conversations in the future. So tonight, guys, we're going to do that a little bit. We're going to talk about the future, what this road to WrestleMania 33 could really shape up to be, some of the most interesting parts of it, maybe some of the guys that we think are gals that we don't know could be, big stars at WrestleMania, or maybe who we don't think is going to get to shine as bright as we thought once. We're also going to be getting into that big special WWE 24 that was all about WrestleMania 32. Talk about all the behind the scenes, all that. I know Sean is going to be giving us a lot of that in-depth information because he did get a chance to watch it and check it out, so he'll be kind of covering that, giving us ideas if you guys want to watch it, or maybe he can give you some other insights, and maybe not, I don't know. We're also going to talk Ring of Honor too, so trust me, we've got a full show for you guys today. We're totally excited about it. We hope you are too. Of course, if you want to go check out all our stuff, go to W2Mnet.com and go find all the written reviews, all the other great content that we have provided for you right there, plus W2M Network. If you haven't subscribed, go do that now. So, guys, I am your host, Gary Vaughn. Of course, with me is Mr. Paul Leeser. Heyo. And Mr. Sean Garmer.
What's up, everybody?
Oh boy, guys. So we got a big show ahead of us. But before we do, I just got to stop off and say, we've had a crazy weekend. Lots of great wrestling to talk about, of course. We did it. We did a lot of review shows. Not only did we do the NXT TakeOver San Antonio show, we also did a review for the Royal Rumble. And, of course, we did the shows we always do. So we've had a lot of great content to get into this weekend. We've had a lot of stuff going on. But I'll say this, my weekend has been kind of nuts besides all that. I mean, it's just been kind of overwhelming at times, but I'm at least, feeling a lot better than I did last week, which is a big, huge positive because I'm able to do this and stay up late if I need to, or, whatever. But man, I mean, this is it's been exciting kind of seeing what's going to be taking place. So how is everything going with you guys? Anything going on, Paul?
No, not really. I just I got home from bowling earlier this evening, and then I got ran over by this migraine, so I'm just sitting here in the dark.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, man.
Oh.
So you see, I got over the sickness and all that, and now I'm spreading a little love to you now, Paul. Enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. That sucks.
It's okay. It
Oh.
happens. They're chronic. It's genetic. Thanks, Mom, by the way.
So she passes down the Bronco fandom, and now she's passing the migraines. Come on, Mom.
You gotta take
Come
the good
on.
with the bad. You gotta take the good with the bad.
I love it. I love it so. And I'll try not to be too loud. I'm over here
Oh, don't
laughing
worry
my head
about
off in your ear. So, but anyway, well, Sean, how's everything going with you, man? I know you've been busy because I know you're really working hard on the video game section for W2Mnet.com and getting lots of different reviews and sending out reviews for people.
Yeah, I mean, my Monday routine is I get up, have my coffee. Yeah, I mean, if I don't work, that is. And then I sit down and I go through all the games that are supposed to come out, and I go and email all the publishers, all the different ones. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 15. And then I have to wait until they send me something back. And we had 5 come in today, so I had to go find people to get those reviews in, and I got a couple of different new writers in for us over there, and then we had to do the Royal Rumble thing earlier today, so that kind of messed up my rhythm of how that works. But yeah, it's a job that it's almost like having another job, really. But it's great because like I really never thought that I thought it was going to take us forever to get review copies, and for me to like in one day you get 5 of them now, and I always like to point this out that we've only been having that website since September, so it's really cool to see how far. And now the website's, other than some couple of things on the podcast page, all the pages are done now, so now the website's full the way it's supposed to be.
That's totally awesome. And yeah, I mean, it has been a journey, and it's been a very short journey because, like you said, it hasn't even been a year yet. But it's been really cool to see some of the, parts of the website really blow up. And I know the video game section is pretty hot, and that's really something special and important for especially, you guys, because, you're getting, those reviews out, and of course, you guys are also getting your, W2Mnet's name out there too, showing that, hey, we've got some great writers, we've got lots of great content. So I was thrilled to hear that today, that you had so many codes come in, because that means something, and hopefully, before you know it, that'll be a regular thing. You'll be like, where's my 5 codes? I should be getting the normal 15,
So, and then the wrestling section is doing its thing. So
that's right, and Paul's doing a great job too, and with that too. So you guys are really working hard, and this is exciting. I mean, both of you guys put a lot of time into it, and I know I don't do that as much, but I appreciate all of the work that you guys do. You do so much, and it's really, really cool. And I know it, sometimes may not feel like it pays off a whole lot, but I'm sure it really does at the end of the day when people are getting to enjoy that content, and it's also something cool. You're spreading something out there that people are actually paying attention to. So I like that. I think that's really, really cool. So
I mean, we don't ever hear from them, but the ones I do hear from, they do say they appreciate it. And I mean, the staff appreciates it too. So that's what's cool, is we have good people that write there and everything. And getting it back to the podcast, we have somebody on YouTube. This is the second or third time he's commented, but he says, I just want to say. This is an Anthony Holland on YouTube. He says, I just want to say you guys are pros, and what you do, I listen every single day at work and at home, and I look forward to your podcast. Keep killing it. Thanks for the entertainment. So.
Oh, awesome, man. We really appreciate that. And your name is Anthony Holland, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, man. We really appreciate that, and we try to bring the best we can to you guys all the time, and it's been a while, but from the beginning of this stuff, from the beginning of this show to now, I feel like we have actually turn that corner to an extent, because I remember the days where we so we're doing a lot better.
Now even if one of us falls asleep, it's still good.
Yeah.
Mainly me, but
We're trying to keep Sean awake, and we're trying to keep Paul alive right now. His brain's about to explode. So,
God,
boy, so.
He's not wrong.
So it's all that.
I don't want a casualty having on air. Can you imagine?
Hey, trust me, I'm the one who's supposed to die on this show.
We're having to have the
else.
ambulance call on air.
Hey, those numbers will jump up out the wazoo when that happens. That'll be all over the place. So I'll be happy in death. Hey, my number shot up, But anyway, very morbid. I love it. Yes. Well, let's move on, guys. Enough about us and all the great other stuff we got going on. Let's actually jump into some wrestling, and we're not really doing quick hits today. And if people are wondering why, trust me, with the Rumble Royal Weekend and all that stuff that ensues, there's not a lot of it, honestly. A lot of the news really is kind of little tedious stuff, some fans made Kenny Omega mad, he made them mad, all this kind of stuff. That stuff is okay. I mean, we can even have that conversation.
About some of the bigger things during the Rumble review too. So there's no point of actually repeating ourselves here.
Exactly. We don't want to sit here and just continue the same old conversation. So we're not. You guys can go check out the Rumble review, go check out the Monday Night Raw review. Both those have little tidbits here and there, and you can get all the stuff you need right there. But we are going to get into some other interesting topics tonight, and this is just going to be kind of fun. We get to freelance a little bit. So I want to start here, and this is something we really didn't talk about on Raw, and I think we forgot about it, to be honest with you, because of the fact that it wasn't huge, okay? The announcement was kind of big, and it's going to have some implications for WrestleMania, but it was not something so big that it knocked you over during Monday Night Raw, and that was Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman coming out on Monday Night Raw, and the announcement that Brock Lesnar is calling out Goldberg at WrestleMania 33 for one last match. And I know we had that thought process. This was going to happen. That's not a big surprise. But what the thought process was originally, though, and especially earlier today, if you listen to the Rumble review, you kind of got us talking about that possible build-up to where Goldberg is champion, and then they have the main event with Brock goes against Goldberg for the Universal Championship. Now, I don't know if that picture is that clear on a championship being held by Goldberg. What do you guys think about this?
I mean, we still don't actually know anything that's going on at Fastlane yet, which is still a fair few weeks away. It's not a short turnaround for Raw, and just for SmackDown, who has Elimination Chamber in 3 weeks now. So, Goldberg and Brock at WrestleMania should be a shock to no one. I think that's pretty much been written on the card since Goldberg ran Brock over in 2 minutes back in November or whenever that was. So, whether it ends up being for the Universal title or not, it probably will be. WWE can't resist themselves when it comes to stuff like this, and if that means the title's going back to Brock, or if Goldberg's sticking around for however much longer, it honestly sucks that another full-time talent has to kowtow to another part-time talent, much like CM Punk had to do The Rock back in 2011. So, I'm very meh on the match. I'm a little bit more upset that if it does get the Universal title, then it totally sucks that it has to come at the hands of Kevin Owens' run, and what has been actually a pretty decent run, despite the fact that WWE has done zero to make it really seem like it matters.
Yeah, that's the thing too. This belt has really felt like secondary. They've tried to build it with the Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens thing, but they really haven't done a whole lot with Kevin Owens and making him look like this strong champion or anything either. They did a surprise where they really pulled it on us, of making us think, oh, hey, Roman Reigns is for sure winning. Well, he didn't. Mm-hmm. That was the big surprise, but it's just, it gives credence to them having another match, even though the way that they did it on Raw made it seem like It doesn't need the title. It's all about Brock having his vengeance or whatnot. So maybe, and we have heard that Brock is going to be on every Raw, I think, for a while. Whereas probably Goldberg isn't going to be on as often. So we'll see how that goes. He is going to be on the Raw next week. I don't know. This is one of those, let's see what happens. I mean, I've enjoyed Goldberg being there and not doing, not like overtaking everything. He's there in his spots and he does what he has to do. Brock does his usual thing as well. It's whatever. It's not the most exciting thing not the thing I'm most excited for WrestleMania.
No, I don't think it really needs to be the most exciting thing. I think it's a big piece of the puzzle, but I think that there's some other things that are going to have to surround it to make it a really viable card. As we've seen, these two guys aren't terrible. This is a new era with these two guys. We've already seen them in a former WrestleMania bout that sucked, but this is, like I said, a new day, if I could say it that way. Even though the New Day are not involved in this. But this is going to be, I think, is going to be exciting for the fact that, we are going to have a build that is going to be slow, but I think at the same time it's going to have a momentum factor, a part of it, that it's going to slowly creep up, and then the next thing you know, it's going to almost have that explosion. And I think that's going to be the fun part about it. And then when they finally do step in the ring, you're really going to be going for the fact that, man, Brock can't lose again. He can't. There's just no way he can lose again. And I can't say today that I know that, Goldberg's going to lose, but I still feel like, at the end of this whole thing, we have to have a bloody and battered Bill Goldberg, and that is at the hands of Brock Lesnar. And I still, to this day, and I'm going to continue this until WrestleMania 33. So
Brock,
get sick of it.
The Locker.
The Locker. I don't know about that, but I want to say it has to end where Brock Lesnar is showing the bloody face of Bill Goldberg to his wife and kid, and that be the finality of this thing. Because I think with all this built-up emotion, as embarrassed as Brock Lesnar has been, that's the best way for him to come out shining. Because we know Goldberg, after this run, for the most part, and I'm just going to throw this out there, I really feel like he's kind of done. He came back this year to kind of get his kid in the realm of, hey, there's my dad. He's wrestling. Oh, awesome. Yeah, he's doing this and this and this. And then he can walk away, go back to kickboxing. I don't know that this is a long-term thing for Bill Goldberg. So I think that this is going to be an exciting end, hopefully, to his career. And I think they've done a fine job with Goldberg. I've actually turned the whole thought process around on him, because at first I was just like, it's cheesy, it's stupid, I don't care. Now I'm kind of at the point where, like, cool. And like Sean just pointed out to everybody. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, reiterating Sean's point of they're picking good spots for Goldberg. He's not shoved down your throat, right? They're picking their spots, and it's good. So go ahead, Paul.
I think when it comes down to it, they convince Goldberg to do this much, and if they can manage to convince him, I mean, say he does squash Brock, and this is how Brock leaves, and Goldberg sticks around for a while, because now all the heat that Brock has gotten is on Goldberg, and they still need to get that to somebody else. So if Goldberg is much more willing to do a job for somebody than Brock is, then maybe that's the route they decide to take.
I don't think that Brock has problem doing jobs at this point. He's doing jobs to freaking Goldberg.
Last year's WrestleMania begs to disagree with you, sir.
Last year's WrestleMania with Ambrose?
With Dean. Yes.
That was because he was having that UFC fight.
I don't think that should matter, but it's whatever. This is the only time that Brock has looked weak now is with Goldberg, and I don't think he would ever. It doesn't seem like he's interested in trying to put over these younger guys, and maybe that's something Goldberg is more willing to do.
That's so weird, though. You're gonna want to be punked out by a 50-year-old man instead. Like,
Goldberg has a name.
I mean, yeah, Undertaker beat him too.
Yeah, he's only lost to Trips and Taker and Goldberg. That's really about it.
And Cena when he first showed up.
And Cena, yeah.
They're same caliber people, so
It's an interesting thought, though. I mean, really is if they were going to go that route. I think with Brock Lesnar, it's not about what there was much doing with him. I think it's about the money. I think he wants to get paid, unless he has that itch to go back to UFC, but he's banned for like a year.
He
right?
can't do it anymore. I think it's longer than a year.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, where else does he go? I mean, he can go back to farming and make whatever money from there, but I think this is his best payday and not have to work the schedule that he doesn't want to work. And, I mean, I don't know. I've always looked at both of these guys in the same vein. It's about money, probably first of all. Second of all, their interest in what they're being asked to do. And I think they're kind of on equal playing fields. I just look at Bill Goldberg as being a little older and a little bit more stubborn. And maybe the guy that the only reason he's agreeing to do all this is because, hey, by the way, you get to make Brock Lesnar look terrible for a long time. Oh, I do. Okay, well, heck yeah, I'll do that. I think that's the only reason, really, Goldberg stayed even longer. I think that's maybe the only way. I think he signed like a fast lane, right? He's going to have a match of fast lane.
I mean, for one, when he first comes out, I think that promo that he cuts, I think he is genuinely shocked at how many people remember him and how many people want to see him and how much of a commodity he has been for WWE in this run, and how much WWE has given him a lot of respect in this run that they didn't give him originally when he was younger and would have been able to wrestle more.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that there was goodwill given there by WWE, and then he says, okay, I'll do your Royal Rumble, Fastlane, and WrestleMania, and I really think he's done after WrestleMania, but if he's working this light schedule, maybe he says, why not? Like you brought up, Gary. I mean, I don't know. I think he wants this glory run. He'll get the Hall of Fame next year, and that'll be it.
Yeah. I mean, and you're probably right on that. It's just, I kind of look at, the whole thought process for both those guys and where their heart's at. And I just kind of feel like Goldberg for me. I mean, I don't know the guy. I kind of look at him more the short term, but Paul may have a point. I could be completely wrong. Brock gets kind of bored too. I'm sitting here saying about Goldberg, but Brock gets kind of like, in his ways, and he's thinking, you know what, I don't feel like this anymore, and he could easily walk away too. So
his contract ends after next year, though, right?
Is it after next year? I can't remember.
I think so. I don't remember.
I think he signed a 3-year deal after last year. Yeah, because it was last year that they made the whole big deal going into WrestleMania, what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. Or not the year before that.
I think it was the year before.
So it would have been WrestleMania 31, he signs a 3-year. Yeah, so WrestleMania 34 is when it'd be the last one.
And he'd have to re-up if he wanted to do more. So, it's interesting.
The dude also likes money. So, he'll do anything they ask him to do. You're paying me the money, whatever. I'll job out to Bill Goldberg.
Mm-hmm. Just give me that money. I love it. Oh, boy. So, that's the thing about those two guys. And I think that's going to be a huge part of WrestleMania. But there's going to be so many different pieces around it. And I think, what's interesting is you guys just talked about the Universal title. And I was reading a little, about the news and stuff like that. And there was some controversy surrounding the Universal title because there is a lot of people kind of thinking that WWE is like changing their thought process on this title or something. They really kind of alluded back to The Rock and the way, one of the years that he had his championship run about how they were, not even using they weren't defending the title on live events, let's say it that way. And, kind of just not making it something special. Is there an issue with the Universal title? Do you guys see any change in the future? I mean, Do you think that they're going to just keep this? I don't know. I'm just kind of curious how you guys feel about the state of the Universal title itself.
I mean, the Raw brand needs a top title, and that's the one they went with. I don't know what they're going to do with any of it after WrestleMania. Maybe it's sort of secondary at this point, but it's not like the championship means much. And I think it's Sean who said during the Rumble review that it's sort of like the big gold, or the World Heavyweight title. It's very secondary to what's going on over on SmackDown to me too.
Yeah, I mean it is. I think it's always going to be seen that way. But you know how you can change that is whoever holds it, you make them strong. And I think this all kind of went in a tailspin because they never expected Finn Balor to get hurt the night that he won the title.
Right.
So they had to figure out something else, and you still don't know if, is Goldberg going to be the one to get it? Are they going to just have Jericho and are they just going to have Jericho and Owens fight over it? Is Balor going to come back before WrestleMania at all? Or is it going to be a day after WrestleMania, here I am, I want my title, whoever has it, and then they really do get behind Finn, and then the title really starts meaning something. It's really has been a placeholder title because Kevin Owens really wasn't supposed to have it in the first place, at least not right then. And, to their credit, they haven't just been switching around like hot potato or whatever. They really haven't helped Kevin Owens with it either. So I don't think the title itself is the problem. It's how you book the champion.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, it is about the champion, the way they carry it, all that great stuff. I just made me wonder, some of this controversy, some of the things people have said about that title and the way that's, kind of being presented, especially on live events and all that. So I think that, like, Paul said too, you have to have that main event status, and you can't just have a main event without a title on Raw. You have to have something there, and that's what the Universal title is going to be. But, as we go forward and we're looking at the picture for WrestleMania, I think both, the Universal title and, the WWE Championship itself have some interesting things a part of it. Now that John Cena is champion, I mean, that's another thing to jump into because of the fact that, if he was to, I don't say he's going to lose anytime soon, but if he was to lose between now and WrestleMania, he could always get his rematch at WrestleMania and go for the world-breaking, 17th title, right? I mean, that's the record breaker. That's something that would be super special. For it to happen at WrestleMania would make it even more special. How do you figure that they're going to go with this picture, especially with the WWE Championship?
The WWE World Heavyweight title looks pretty clear as far as what they're going to do over there. The rumors for a while have been Randy and Bray, and after the Rumble, it looks like that's the direction that they're going to go. And I think the story it definitely deserves it. It might be the best told story on WWE television right now, and it's so interesting, and it just continues to get better and better every week. So I am completely okay if that is the route they choose to go. And even if they do go with Cena and Orton, I don't know if I'm so totally upset by that. They never had the Mania match. And honestly, they're both as interesting as they've been in a long time.
Very true. But that is the wrong crowd to have that match.
Oh, absolutely. But
they are going to get crapped out of the building. That's what I would worry about, but Vince doesn't care about that. We saw that last year. If he wants to have his match, he's going to have it. Yeah, I want to see Bray and Orton because that storyline needs to be rewarded, and you still got what's going to happen with Harper. Is Rowan going to come back at all? Is all that. You have a lot of things going on with that story that could really be paid off there, and you could have Cena wrestle almost anyone, and it'd be great. I have heard people talking about Cena Nakamura maybe, but that would be a dream match for me just from the the entrances are going to be crazy. The charisma is going to be out the top or off the chain or whatever. But you have to think about that though. Who is he going to go against? Because all the other guys that they were talking about are taken up by people. So who is there for Cena to wrestle at this point?
Yeah, that's a big question, and that really is interesting, and I think John Cena, holding the title for the time being, is something that they probably wanted to do too, to kind of give him some extra oomph, because he hasn't been on television a whole lot. And, it also kind of, steps AJ onto another feud, another situation, and I think that's something else they wanted to kind of do. So that's why they put us in this situation. And, I really, really hope you guys are right on that whole thought process of, Bray Wyatt getting to, go for the championship and, had a special WrestleMania moment. He's been in the WrestleMania, but I want him to have that title run. And for him to get that title at WrestleMania, oh my God, that's so special for me, because I've expected a lot from this guy. And it's not him, but they have not let him do as much as I felt like they could have let him do. So, yeah,
the only other thing I can think of is maybe Cena winds up being the guy that comes to defend Shane or something like that. And that's another way that they do Cena AJ one last time or whatever. Because I'm really sitting here thinking about who the hell could Cena wrestle if he still has the title? Or even if he doesn't have the title, at that show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I haven't a clue either.
It's going to be really fun to see how they're going to make that all shake out. It really, really is. So let's also talk about, we talked about some of these big titles. I do want to jump into both women's titles because, right now we have Alexa Bliss and we also have, Charlotte, who I think both do great for their respective brands. How do you feel? I mean, do you think that they are going to do anything extravagant leading up to WrestleMania for either title? I mean, now you have Mickie James in the picture for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and of course now for the WWE Women's Championship on Raw. Charlotte, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me. I mean, I can't say this because they changed that title so much, but I see more of a long run to WrestleMania with Charlotte than maybe I do with Alexa Bliss heading forward.
I think they've done a great job of setting up these four women really well with Nia, Sasha, Bayley, and Charlotte. This is something that's been reported for a while, and we've talked about it many times here. It really does feel like they're going to do that four-way match on the Raw side. Every time that they're involving these four women, these are the four women that are doing this thing right now. It just almost seems obvious that's what they're going to be doing. On the SmackDown side of things, it's really interesting because you have so many, almost all the women are involved in storylines right now.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got, we assume Naomi and Alexa for Elimination Chamber, but then after that, what do? You got, Nikki and Natty going at it still. You got Mickie James now dealing with Becky Lynch. I mean, are you going to have a bunch of SmackDown Women's matches on the pre-show or whatever? Or are they going to combine them into, six-pack challenge or they going to do just some kind of crazy one of those where all the women are in there or they could do a lot of different things.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about the SmackDown scene is that they've continued to keep all those women busy in feuds with each other and really growing that division outwards, which they definitely needed to do. The interesting thing is, though, and I can totally see Larry's point over at 401, he thinks that they might do a women's elimination chamber match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. at Elimination Chamber, and that could certainly flux the title around somewhere to maybe where you end up. I still think they want Nikki Bella to have that championship sooner rather than later, so I'm sure she's going to get her way into that match with that belt on the line and win it there. It maybe she walks in with it or however they're going to go about it, but they want that belt on Nikki, and maybe giving it to her at WrestleMania is the way they want to go.
Man, but you're also going to crown Bayley there too, you'd imagine. So you're going to have the two face women at the, they could.
I don't think Raw is as written in stone as far as Bayley winning that championship as anything else is at this moment, just because she hasn't caught on maybe as well as they would like or whatever, and they seem pretty gung-ho on Charlotte, and they're doing all this building on Nia. I mean, I feel like that one's much more open than what they want to do with the SmackDown one.
Yeah, I mean, they could really turn that feud up with Nikki and Natty up a notch if they have Natty win.
Mm-hmm.
So funny, think about, you could have Bray Wyatt and Natty as your main male and female champions at the end of that show. That is two people I never thought I'd be talking about having championships again. But yeah, I mean they could definitely give it to Natty and have Nikki just, okay, here we go, my final deal with you. Now that you're champion, I'm going for that title and whatever. So
Right.
That's I didn't think about that, but it's very possible Nia could just walk out of there with that title at WrestleMania too.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's going to be kind of fun. These are some of the bigger titles we're talking about to WrestleMania. There'll be lots of other things I'm sure that are going to lead up. And, of course, you're going to have Shaquille O'Neal and Big Show is going to be a part of that. So you're going to have so much build. And I just wanted to touch base on some of these things. I thought it was kind of interesting to kind of, throw our early predictions. And this is super early in the game. So things can change definitely between now and that Big Show and WrestleMania 33. Just a little fun conversation here. But, I don't know if you guys want to bring anything else to the table, but if you don't, I think we should, move on. And I think we really, I want to hear Sean's opinion on this Big Show that just happened right after the Raw, which was WWE 24. They were talking about WrestleMania 32 and behind the scenes and all that great stuff. And I saw the commercial for it. I just have not had a chance to watch it. So, Sean, kind of fill us in on how this show went and if it's worth people's time.
Well, I mean, very much like the one they did for WrestleMania 31. This is a really good quality thing. They pick, a few people to have stories. Charlotte talks about how basically she's wrestling because of Reed dying, and they show her journey through what that WrestleMania match meant to her and everything else, and her dad being there and whatnot, and you get the AJ, what it means for AJ to be at WrestleMania. So you get his story there. You get some Zack Ryder in there. You get who else is they focus on that thing? I can't think right. Oh, Shane McMahon also gets focused on that too. You get the stuff with him and Vince and him and his kids, and they basically show you all the stuff from behind the scenes perspective of what happened WrestleMania 32. You get to find out the thing with how the New Day went up coming out of the cereal box, which is kind of cool to find that out. The idea that Xavier Woods has in his head originally was hilarious. It was like, whoa, this is way too crazy. But I think overall it's just this documentary about WrestleMania 32. I mean, if you really have enjoyed all these W24s, I don't see why you don't watch this one. I think it's kind of cool to learn some of these stories and see it from a different. That's what I like. Is I like watching the show from a different perspective. It's almost like watching it like in movie version. And then you get the backstage thoughts from the guys while the match is going on, or after the match is over, or before the match, or whatever. So that's what's kind of interesting. I don't think it's anything that's gonna like blow you away or anything like that. Like, we have had some that are just like, oh my god, you need to watch this. I wouldn't put this in that category, but I would say if you have 45 minutes to an hour and you want to watch something wrestling related, but this isn't a bad way to spend that time.
Cool. So yeah, I mean, that's really awesome. And I was kind of curious, just because of the fact that, sometimes you look at these documentaries and you sit here and say, that looks interesting, but man, how much time are they going to spend on each thing? Am I going to be interested in everything that's a part of it? And it sounds like there's really some good parts of it that, people are going to have some intrigue in. So I'm thrilled about, getting a chance to sit down and watch it. I just have not,
It is
really,
interesting seeing some of the, like, you get to see Stardust in there at one point. Because he's in that, that ladder match. And then you get to Del Rio and Barrett and guys that are not with the company anymore. So that's always interesting how they show them and everything.
Yeah. No, for sure. And, I'll be looking forward to watching it myself. I'll get around to it, and it'll be a lot of fun.
No Ryback match, though. So.
Shocker. Sure. Yeah. Well, there was like 15 people in the crowd when that match happened, so, and I can't blame them. I mean,
they showed everything else. They showed the Divas match, but they didn't show the Ryback one. That's funny.
Yeah. Oh boy, poor Ryback. What's he doing now? Is he like selling?
He's
comic
doing that
book,
podcast,
or is he doing dog grooming like me? Or is he? I mean, I wonder where this guy is.
He actually
indie work.
Yeah, he said he didn't. He's almost kind of like Cody. He doesn't want to sign a full-time deal. He's got this health thing going on right now, and he says that Pat Buck's gotten offers from all the, not offers, but he's gotten interest from all the major feds, but that Ryback doesn't want to be tied down to anybody because he feels like he's giving up a little bit of himself if he were to do that. So he's fine doing the indie stuff and just doing his thing.
Oh man, I was really hoping to get that exciting story that he was working a job like the rest of us. But anyway. Sorry, I just thought he's so much fun. But anyway. Come on, Sean, don't lie. You wouldn't, have a problem if Ryback walked up to you and goes, where do I get the blue vest?
Oh, and he changed his name to Ryback Ryan Reeves. So, if he ever goes and gets with a chick, he's got to tell him, my name's Ryback, for real. That is my name.
But trust me, my last name is Reeves. Just don't confuse me with Keanu. We're okay.
Can you imagine if, his last name had been like Warrior? His last name would have been Ryback. Get married to Ryback and... Man, damn, my last name's Ryback now.
Hey, you never know. I mean, Ultimate Warrior's wife may be looking for a new husband, so... Ryback Warrior. You could just use her name.
Oh, God.
So... but anyway, how much
the Warrior, Ryback.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, what if you use some of those 80s names? Like, Macho. What if your name was Macho? Think about that. So... but anyway, moving on past all that good stuff. Yeah, I mean,
have you seen that? Well, they've shown a million commercials for it, but my phone, I got too much memory on my phone right now. But I kind of do want to play that phone game that they keep showing. See, it looks interesting. The Bejeweled WWE game.
Oh, I play it quite often. I actually like it a lot, but I'm into match 3 stuff, so it's really fun.
I love the promos that they show. It's so much fun just to see the promos. I'm like, this is a great commercial. So, yeah, I've never played it. I have to check it out. But, I'm not much of a phone game person. I don't know.
I mean, it's like it's like it's playing like a Candy Crush or any of those kind of games, but you're watching, like wrestling on the top screen, right? Is that
Right.
what's happening?
The thing I really like too, like most mobile games have stamina bars, right? This one doesn't really have it. It's all predicated on your wrestler's health because, of course, they're taking damage during the match. So if you get through a bunch of matches scot-free, you can keep on going, right? And you'll have multiples, and you can actually get in a lot of playtime without having to give up, a lot, which I really appreciate. I think that's what makes it so different. And, of course, they have health packs and everything else. And in-game currency and everything else that comes with mobile market games now these days whenever a company is trying to make quick bucks off of this, people who want to take shortcuts. But it's really, really fun and absolutely worth your time. If you're into Bejeweled or Candy Crush or just any sort of Match 3 experience and you're a wrestling fan, it's totally up your alley.
Yeah, I need to check it out, like I said, I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but it looks pretty neat, They did a good job advertising it, I'll say that. So, yeah, well, besides that, guys, we just don't have a whole lot of news or anything else to jump into. So I think we should go ahead and jump into our Ring of Honor segment here. It's, got some good content.
It does.
Go for it, guys.
Cool. So, Ring of Honor, they're in Center Stage in Atlanta now, which is this really cool venue. If you've never seen it before, it's built for TV, which is even better, and all sorts of other cool stuff. But they open with a 3-way tag team match with Cheeseburger and Will Ferrara teaming up to take on the newly named Coast to Coast, which is Leonce Giovanni and Shaheem Ali, taking on Sho and Yo, the Tempura Boys, which is Yohei Komatsu and Sho Tanaka, if you're familiar with the New Japan Young Lion crop that came up last year. This is really good. It's pretty much a spot fest because there's not really a lot of tags or cohesiveness, but it's a really fun little sprint that lasts maybe 6 or 7 minutes. Sho and Yo end up winning after Sho Tanaka kills Shaheem Ali with a package pile driver. It's interesting to note that Kevin Kelly is doing commentary on his own and has wrestlers come out to do the color with him. So in this match, they have the Young Bucks come out. Afterwards, they come in and say that, the winner of this might as well be the number one contender, seeing as the Hardy Boys aren't around, and they won't be, obviously, because that match has already been made for Supercard of Honor in April. So the Tempura Boys will challenge for the tag titles next week. The Young Bucks super kick them and then introduce Adam Cole, who comes out and talks about how unstoppable he is now that he's a 3-time ROH World Champion, and that the Bullet Club and him are pretty much living legends at this point. And would somebody please too sweet him? What'd you think, Gary?
The match itself, starting out this show was fine. It got, done what it needed to do, right? It got your, number one contender. So that's fine. And I think those two guys, were pretty entertaining. I also love the fact that we did have the Young Bucks on commentary. Kevin Kelly, by himself, he does a good job, but I anytime you can have the Young Bucks a part of anything, those guys are hilarious and they're fun. And I also like the fact that they're like, hey, where's Steve? So kind of funny. He's gone. So that was liking that little comment. But you know what? I mean, this really, rounds out to be just, about what's going on with Adam Cole. And I like that we have that and we get more on what's going on with Adam Cole because of the fact that, ever since, the whole Kyle O'Reilly and him thing went down, you haven't heard a whole lot, but now you do. And so I feel like we're getting somewhere now. I was kind of concerned at first because I just felt like I'm just in the dark, but now they got out. Now, of course, he's doing his thing again. So Adam Cole, baby, let's see what you got next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should mention that he goes over all of his challenges they ask him. So he has Dalton Castle at Supercard of Honor. He's got Bobby Fish at Manhattan Mayhem in March. And he's got the winner of the Decade of Excellence tournament at the 15th anniversary show, which if you've paid attention to Ring of Honor's website or any of their social media accounts, they've already spoiled for you. So nice job on that, Ring of Honor. But let's keep talking about this show. We get a video package for Juice Robinson, who's challenging Marty Scurll for the television title. That match follows it up very quickly. I really like this a lot. You get a real nice sort of strong style match here. They open with some quick chain wrestling that quickly turns into just a hard striking fest and some brutal slams. Like that brainbuster that Scurll hits on Juice is just nasty. And the match ends up going to the outside. Marty's laid up against the guardrail. Juice goes for the cannonball and misses. Marty gets him back into the ring and pretty much sends it home from there to retain. And this is a really good match. I would totally recommend you go find this.
Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of funny because I really felt like this debut match for Marty Scurll in Ring of Honor last week was super good. I mean, even Paul, I was annoying you because I kept telling you how much I loved it. Him and Gresham did such a great job. I loved it. And I think it's because of Gresham, too. I think he had a good counterpart. But, man, Juice Robinson and Scurll knocked out of the park again. My God, Scurll. I mean, to have your first two matches to be this good, it's, says a lot. For we all know he's a great wrestler. But, to come into Ring of Honor and just stay on fire, I just really was just excited about this whole match. I think they did a good job of, kind of doing just what you said, Paul. They kicked Gear 1, Gear 2, and Gear 3. I felt like it had a gradual build, and it built, and it got better and better. And then you got to your end, and with Scurll winning, I felt like it was just an excellent job on his part to really look good. And I think Juice Robinson, just like always, had a pretty fluid match. So overall, my goodness, this will be another one. I'm going to be waiting until we do Superstar of the Week this week. But, man, another one that's going to be in my mind when we talk about that.
I think what's nice to note about this, too, is that Scurll's match last week with Gresham was very much a grappling contest that ended up with him winning, right? And this is a completely different match on that spectrum. So Scurll's already showing off his diversity, and if you've watched the Reach for the Sky tour, his match with Ospreay was wonderful too, and that was much more of a high-flying, hard-hitting affair too. So very versatile as Scurll. If you're just getting to know him, he's the real deal, and he's already showing it to you. And another thing I should note about this is that Alex Shelley does the color for this match with Kevin Kelly. This at the end of the match, Scurll has the microphone, talks about how he hasn't had any competition. That's the whole reason why he came to Ring of Honor. So he's making an open challenge to anybody that thinks they're hard enough. And out comes Chris Sabin, joined by the sort of people that him and Shelley have taken under the wing. So it's Sabin, Leo Rush, Donovan Dijak, Jonathan Gresham, and Jay White. And Shelley ends up joining them after the commercial break and says that they're all going to have a big match next week between all six of them. And the winner of that will be the guy who will challenge Mr. Marty Scurll for the television title. So you have all that going for it. You also get some hype for the Texas shows going down this weekend, which I'll be at the Dallas one. So good stuff coming all the way around. What'd you think about the promos, though, Gary?
Yeah, I really appreciated that. We get a chance to hear Scurll kind of get into, his idea and what he's about and, why he even made the move. And I like that because, honestly, if you're just watching Ring of Honor and you're not watching some of that other content like me, I'm not watching a lot of the other content. I actually understand more about what he's doing and why he's doing it. And I think that's really important. And I think that, you as a fan can sit there and get behind this guy or choose not to get behind him because of this stuff. So I think it was really well done.
Absolutely. And they're doing a great job of working in the fact that they don't have a color guy and using that to work into the matches, into the bookings, and building up the future shows, which I thought that this was a really nice touch of turning some lemons into lemonade, if you will. Kevin Kelly... Sorry, not Kevin Kelly. We get some hype videos for Lethal and Briscoe, who have the last semifinal match in the Decade of Excellence tournament coming up. You have that match take place immediately afterwards. If you've seen Lethal and Briscoe before, you're not really getting a whole lot of different here. They do tell a different story, obviously. Lethal knocks heads with Briscoe early and he sort of sends on loopy. Briscoe dominates a good portion of the match. Lethal makes a bit of a comeback, but it's not enough. Briscoe ends up winning with the Jade Driller to move on to the final face-off against Christopher Daniels. Thoughts on this one? Oh, and Kazarian is at ringside as well as Adam Cole for the color commentary, which is playing into things that have been spoiled already.
Don't you love it? Of course, I haven't read the spoilers, but Paul sitting there listening to those guys talk and said, "Been there, done that." So, but yeah, here we go. But I think if you're watching this, and I would call it real time because we're not going to talk about the spoilers. I think it's kind of fun to watch this match. Sure, this has happened before. They even talked about their history. I think Briscoe talked about he had already been, I think, a loser of every match he's had with Jay Lethal, at least the last 3 times. If I'm not, I think that was 3 losses. I
think it was 2.
Was it 2? Yeah. Okay, 2 losses. So he had 2 losses, and he knew he had to win this one. And I think that's what this match told the story of, right? I feel like Briscoe really made that extra effort. I really feel like, I've seen these 2 guys in the ring before. I've actually watched I think at least one of those matches. And I feel like, you may not have got, just anything brand new. But at the point of this whole thing, it's about Briscoe finally get over that hump. And I think he does here. And, it doesn't really hurt Jay Lethal, especially with Jay Lethal having the head injury. It all flows into place and it makes sense. So I have no qualms about it. But no really super spectacular match where you're sitting there saying, that, oh, man, this is awesome, this is awesome. You just kind of feel like you got a pretty solid match. It's about it.
Yeah, I appreciate the story that they told, and the action is great. Briscoe hits this amazing plancha to the outside that's really good, and I just think the story they wove into everything worked out really well and made it much more entertaining as a television main event than obviously what you got on pay-per-view. Like their Best in the World match from 2 years ago was terrific, and I mean honestly, you can probably watch these guys wrestle in the big match all day, but what you got here was just fine and perfect for television, I would say.
Agreed.
Yeah, that ties up your Ring of Honor television for the week, and we got a big show coming into it next week too with the tag titles on the line.
Yeah, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about that one. So we'll be getting into that, of course, next Monday night. But, yeah, that is Ring of Honor. And now we are going to kind of wrap this thing up. I know we had a shorter show for you guys tonight. And, trust me, we would love to do more. But really, news-wise, there's not a lot. But, hey, you've had a lot of us, man. You've had us. Not only Friday night, you had us on Saturday night, and of course you had us a little extra episode on Monday besides you doing the Raw review and now this show. So we've had so much content sent your way. So trust me, if you want more of us, go check out the shows you may have missed, and you'll have all of us you can handle. So trust me, it's been fun. We've been excited. Tomorrow night, you will get SmackDown Live. So, hey, there you go again. You'll get another great show, and be looking forward to that because we may be getting the debut of Ty Dillinger, I hope. But we'll find out. But anyway, this has been a great show. Go check out the rest of our stuff on W2Mnet.com. It's, of course, got a lot of other great content besides wrestling. We also have the video game section we talked about earlier in the show. Of course, we have a little football sprinkled in there as well. And, of course, don't forget about W2M Network. Subscribe if you haven't already. Sean, before we get out of this whole thing, is there anything from W2M Net you want people to know about or any of the other podcasts? I know you just debuted a big show recently in the soccer podcast you may want to give people an idea about. So
maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe he disappeared, or maybe he can't hear us. But anyway, I'll do it quickly. Soccer to the Max is a new show that Sean debuted on Sunday night, and there's him and the co-host, and they do a great job talking about soccer. So if you're really into that, I know we have football on our website, but we also have soccer there for you people who love American soccer, and I think they also talk a little English Premier and things like that too. So you're going to want to go check out that show. Of course, we have a lot of other great content on the website. So, but yeah, I mean, that pretty much wraps us up. So I'm not sure if Sean can hear us or not or what happened, but we are going to let you guys go. We appreciate everybody who came and checked us out tonight. And of course, everybody who wants to come check us out later down the road. So thanks a lot again, guys. And we will see you guys down the road.
Take it easy, guys.
And now we will have Sean cut it off, but we may call him.
Well, the great part is that if you're listening live, we're obviously still here because Sean is the one producing.
Yeah.
So you get to hear us try to figure out how we're going to stop the actual podcast.
Because if he fell asleep of us talking Ring of Honor, which is kind of sad, because it's a good show.
Yeah.
Let's see if he will, of course, I guess we could hang up theoretically, and then this would not be an issue.
Correct.
So, but anyway, well, Paul, I'm going to bid you adieu so you can go get rid of that migraine, maybe get some sleep, and we will catch each other later on, man.
Yes, sir.
Have a great night.
Later, guys.